Okay. All right. Let's start with. Let's go with our predictions.
Mexico
The
US final
the
at
the usual
6:15.
the usual final for 6:15, not 7:15. 6:15. You're right.
6:15.
You're right. The typical Concacaf final is upon us in 2 days. The usual USA Mexico. Um, I have a lot of things to say about this one. But first, we're going to start off with score predictions.
Ooh.
Coming out of it, I'll start with you, Andres. What do you think the score is going to be at the end of the game?
All right, first score that comes to mind 2-1 Mexico and added extra time.
Oh,
Extra time.
Extra
I don't
time.
think it's
goal
going
scores.
Santi and Lozano. I'm going to go with those two. Santi game winner coming off the bench.
Damn
and
it!
then
I should have had you go second because that would have been the perfect segue into the next topic. But
shit, sorry.
okay.
Dude, damn it. I know what you're going for. Fudge.
No, hey, no, we move. It's okay.
Yeah, 2-1.
It's okay.
2-1. I don't
Okay.
give a shit who scores for the US as long as it's not Pulisic. I don't give a fuck.
All right, Diego.
I'd probably go Mexico. Mexico 1-1. Mexico wins on penalties.
Oh, wow.
In the majority again, bro. I'm in the majority back to back.
All right. Cool. I'm gonna go Mexico too, if I'm being honest.
Oh,
Yeah.
we've
And
all
that says a lot
agreed.
because I'm a USA fan. But I'm gonna go Mexico. I think it's gonna be tight. It's gonna be a squeeze for sure. But I do think Mexico's gonna come out of it. I said a lot of the reasons why I don't think the USA is as big of a favorite in the last video. So if you guys were interested in my in another part of my opinion, make sure to check out that reaction to the Jamaica USA game. But I do think that the USA, after that rather shameful performance against Jamaica, shouldn't be considered the favorites leading into this. At least as far as they were like a week ago. I mean, generally a week ago, you ask 100 people, I guarantee you, I'll give you like 70 people would say that the USA made it or would win the whole thing. But Greg at the helm, terrible. Just doesn't know how to play against a team that deploys a low block, and I don't think that the USA could pull out a win here for certain. Which is actually like
Watch him prove us all
really
wrong.
sad.
That'd be depressing.
I mean, they could, and you know what? Like that's what I'm kind of hoping for as an American. But like, I rarely have faith in the Mexican team. I rarely ever pick Mexico over the USA. And that changes for this weekend. It's kind of sad. It might be because I'm going to Mexico. I don't want to be in Mexico when they're losing, but you know, I don't want to be an American in Mexico if America beats Mexico. But yeah, sorry, go ahead and just.
No, I think also it's important to take into consideration. It's going to be a lot different game from what we saw in the semis, especially with the U.S. I don't think Mexico's going to play that low block that obviously Jamaica did. I think they'll play. They're just not going to do that. I think it's going to be maybe a back and forth game, but certain teams are both teams are going to have a spell of possession, and it's just that goes down to who's more clinical, because I feel like the Mexico had way better chances yesterday in terms of. Could be a lot more than just 3, and the United States created chances, but nothing was really there until the extra time. But no, I think it's gonna be a completely different game. I think it's gonna be an exciting game, but I feel like Mexico does have to play a low block just because I feel like the United States players are faster than the Mexican defense. So I feel like it depends on the way they come out in terms of Jimmy Lozano. Sets him up, but I think the smart decision to play a low block and hit him on the counterattack. But you would have to play certain players for that. But it depends on if Jimmy Lozano is going to play those players that are needed to do that.
Which he probably won't. Let's be honest.
No,
so
he won't.
He probably will not. I was gonna say that. Oh man, I was gonna say something. Completely skipped my mind. That sucks.
We're talking about Jimmy. I was hoping to jog your memory with that. Sorry.
No, it didn't. It didn't. Man, there was something I was going to say. You know what? I was thinking to myself, like, this is a really good take. Diego, do you have anything to say about the tie at all? The up ahead?
I think, honestly, I want to say US didn't impress me, but they didn't.
What?
They definitely didn't.
I don't want to say they didn't, but they did.
The phrasing of the statement was like top tier there.
They don't get me wrong, it's an entertaining game. Like obviously when they score at the very end, like that was fun. But like it was lucky, obviously a little lucky. I mean they've been trying, the whole rest of the game to break that through, but so you got to, they got the reward eventually. But I don't know, man. I wasn't like, oh, this is free flowing attacking. Like no, it wasn't really that much. Like a little bit of brilliance from like Reina, and some good finishing from Haji, right? Like got that clinical 2 goals. But otherwise, I was like, I if Jamaica wasn't sitting back and like so deep and trying to hit a hopeful counter every time, I could see them. I could have seen it being a lot worse for the U.S. But also that's just Jamaica. Like obviously their talent isn't as strong as the U.S.'s talent, so I just wasn't impressed. So I think the Mexico just like this is a good chance for them to show, like, to play to their strengths, and because the U.S. has some flaws, so they can definitely do something there. But we'll see. I mean, we'll see. I feel like it is one of those where they could turn up any game they want, but it is so inconsistent.
True.
Like you don't know if they're going to show up and show that like top level talent that sometimes you're like, oh yeah, this is good, and then sometimes you're like, damn, that was ass. So I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. I was gonna say that one thing Jamaica did well against the USA. I don't know if it was conscious or not, but there was a lot of fouls. I mean, I think end of the first half or end of the game, I forget, but it was 16-8 fouls, for Jamaica. I think if Mexico can just like stop USA from getting into any bit of groove, which is what Jamaica did, then that's what you do. Like you like even with fouls, which I know Mexico is very good at. Doing with USA, and as long as you piss them off, I think Mexico easily has it in the bag. If I'm being honest,
Yeah, that's a good point. Just because the United States like players looked visibly frustrated probably by the first half towards the end of it, and then was even more frustrated in the second half towards later on. So I feel like there's always mind games with this with US versus Mexico, and usually it just depends on how the game's going for either side. Because last time it was Western McKinney's shirt got destroyed in that little scuffle.
Yeah, that's right.
And then so I feel like I think Mexico has the edge in terms of like a psychological edge in terms of getting in their heads. But I mean, Jamaica definitely showed how you get in the United States heads. You just foul them, but smart fouls, nothing that's booked that you can get booked for early on. Right. You gotta it's tactical. But yeah. Anyways, I interrupted you. What were you gonna say?
No. That's pretty much all I had to say. I think like one thing that Jamaica did wrong, or not wrong, but it could have done better, was exactly what you said. Is they had a lot of yellow cards too early. Like I don't care about a lot of yellow cards at some point towards the end of the game, but when it starts hindering how you are succeeding throughout the game, then it's kind of a bad thing. So I think that's what Mexico should focus on not doing. There should not be yellow cards. I do think that's going to be an issue, though. I think every time there's a USA Mexico game, there's a fair bit of fouls and a fair bit of tension. So it's going to be hard to not get the amount of yellow cards. But like, as long as you can foul them, smart fouls without yellows, I think you can have some pretty good success in not allowing the USA to get their groove. But at the same time, like, they might not even have to worry about it because fucking Greg Berhalter's at the helm, and he might just coach the team into oblivion. I mean, that's what he's been doing so far. Clint Dempsey the other day, and right after the game, said the last time he saw USA play well was against England in the World Cup. That's true. In 2022. It's 2024 now. And that's such a true statement. And I don't have confidence in this coaching staff to do the same thing now against Mexico. And if you're performing worse against Mexico than you do against England, like, what are you doing as a nation? I don't know. What are you doing as a team? Kind of sad. I'm sticking with Mexico winning. I think it's pretty unanimous here that Mexico are going to win. If we're proven wrong, that's okay too. I really don't mind. But
no, that's horrible. I'd be fucking pissed.
Well, I'm going to go with the fact that it's okay. But